But let's get right into it. And we'll start with number 1, which is basically, if we kind of like you, then we're going to share everything that we can about you with our girlfriends, with our closest girlfriends anyway. We will obsess about you. We will share way too much information, not specific intimate details necessarily, but we will definitely talk about you a lot, and we'll even think about potential future with you and what that might look like. So that's the first tidbit. Now stay tuned, because some of these are going to get pretty juicy. Number 2. I'm going to skip number 2 because that's a juicy one. Let's go to number 3. I'll share number 2 later on in the video, if you stick with me. Number 3. We evaluate everything you say, do, post, don't post, like. So we are super hyper vigilant about paying attention to what you're doing in the world when we kind of like you. So if you put a like on Ashley's photo of her at the gym or at the beach, we're going to wonder if you like Ashley. Now, that doesn't mean you should change your behavior necessarily. It depends on where you are in a courtship or relationship. But just know that even though we might pretend not to be paying attention, we are hyper paying attention to whatever you're doing. Number 4. Okay, this one's a little bit juicy. But if a girl has been with a lot of guys, which is subjective, I suppose, but whatever she thinks you'll think is a lot of guys, she's not going to want to share that with you. She's not going to want you to know that she's been with as many guys as she maybe has been, especially if that number is something she can count on her hand more than once, etc., etc. So the reality is that even though with feminism, there's a lot more freedom for women to be open about sexuality with their bodies and everything else, biologically, the reality is that men still prefer women who haven't been as promiscuous. You know, if you're looking for someone, well, if you want to just hook up, you do, but if you're looking for someone for a long-term relationship, you prefer a woman who's actually been a little bit selective, which shows that she has high standards. So definitely if she has gone through a period of her life where she's been more promiscuous, she's going to be hesitant to want to share that with you. Number 5, along those lines, is she will not want to share with you anything that might turn you off. So she's going to play her cards pretty close until she gets to know you better. And she might even not share some of these things ever, and you'll have to discover them. So some of the things that might turn you off would be if she's got medical conditions, or if she's got mental conditions, or if she's got bad friendships or has had bad relationships, especially if it's her fault, if she doesn't have a job, or if she's in debt, or she has a terrible relationship with her family. So anything where you might negatively judge her, she's going to hold back on sharing that information with you. Number 6. Now this one's going to be a bit of a surprise, but women don't want you to know that even though they are hypergamous, we are hypergamous to some degree, which means that we are attracted to money, power, status, good looks, intelligence, the whole, Chad, Tyrone qualities. We will compromise on many of those if you make us happy. And I'm going to do a separate video on how to keep a woman happy without compromising yourself. So if you're interested in that, definitely put a comment below. And by the way, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, and click notifications so you don't miss any of my Just the Tip Tuesday videos. And as well with this one is that if you meet her standards, which aren't necessarily all of those hypergamous things, they could be very specific things. If you meet her, say, top 5, which you should know about, which is in my Wake Up to Love program, and if you haven't taken that yet, you definitely have to take that. Well, you don't have to take that, but you'd benefit by taking it for sure. Anyways, so if you meet her standards, which might not be what you think they are, then she can be content with you. Now, the reason why she doesn't want you to know this is because she doesn't want you to slack. She doesn't want you to just get lazy in every area and not even try. Okay, next one. Okay, number 7, you're going to love this one. Well, you might not love it, but you're going to appreciate the information in it. So number 7 is that women keep track of points differently than men do. So for example, you plan a romantic dinner, you buy a new suit, you get your hair cut, you put on the cologne she likes, you pick her up, you take her to the restaurant, you make sure that she's seated comfortably, you even arrange for the restaurant to create a special dessert for her. And you take her home, there's candles, and you go the whole 9 yards, right? So you're thinking, dude, I have accumulated like 9 or 10 points tonight for sure for every single thing that I did right. Wrong, unfortunately. So for a woman, that evening counts as 1 point. Maybe if it's really spectacular, it'll be one really, really strong point, but she counts points differently. So that whole evening is counted as an amazing point, but that doesn't mean you can rob the piggy bank tomorrow and start getting lazy because you think you're ahead of the game. So better to know, because then you know. Okay, number 8. This is especially important if you're in a long-term relationship. Women typically require higher amounts of stimulation, not just physical, mental, emotional, the works, than men do after they're in a relationship. And yes, there are exceptions, but here's the reality of what usually happens. Once you get comfortable in a relationship, whether you're just dating or you've been seeing each other for a while or you're living together or you're married, men slack off. You're the hunter, you've got your game, and now you can just sit back, chill, and relax. And you forget to continue to do the things that turned her on in the beginning. You forget to continue to do the things that made her happy in the beginning and that will need to continue to make her happy now and in the future. So you need to keep that in mind, that she doesn't want you to think that she's higher maintenance than she is by nagging, but eventually she will get to nagging. That reminds me of like a little saying. You know why women outlive men? Because we nag you to death. Okay, well, anyways. So that's the thing. And it's not that we don't want you to know that we need higher amounts of stimulation and variety and all the rest, but we just don't want to come off as high maintenance. And really, if you have to compare that men to women in this department, we are kind of high maintenance, but that's across the board. So you're just going to have to get used to that one. And this is especially important if you've slacked in an area that was originally a selling feature for her. So here's a typical one that happens is that I'll do the reverse actually, because this happens also in the reverse. Like, so when men slack, then women start to slack and you don't get the thing you really want, which is often physical intimacy. So she will sometimes gain weight. Maybe you lose a job and you don't start looking for one again. It's a little bit challenging to do, during the pandemic, but these are generalities. You have to look at what was a real selling feature for her at the beginning, and you need to be able to step up and keep up with that without her asking you. Because if you don't, and it continues for any length of time, she will start to unconsciously, usually, it starts with unconscious, wonder what else is available on the market. If the product that she bought isn't meeting her needs, if the warranty has run out, then she is going to wonder what else is available. Be very careful if she starts losing weight, working out, and cuts her hair. Yeah, that's for another video as well. So that brings us to number 9. If your warranty is running out because you're not doing the things that you used to do that were really important to her in the relationship, that's when her eye will wander. She will consider cheating, even if it's not conscious. She will look around at what's available. She doesn't want you to know this. She just hopes that you will actually step up your game. And she will ask you in many different ways, usually by nagging, which is ineffective, but you need to pay attention to that anyways, because even if she can't communicate effectively with you, you need to pay attention to the signs that something needs to change or it's not going to be a happy ending, if you know what I mean. So pay attention to her requests, and she may not be requesting something specifically that she wants, but if she's generally upset, then you kind of need to look at yourself and say, okay, where have I kind of slacked in the relationship? Am I keeping up? And again, I'll do another video on how to keep a woman happy so that you can keep your woman happy, and then you'll be happy, because then there'll be more happy endings in your world. Everybody likes a happy ending. And because she might not even know what her real needs are, you should watch my Understand Women playlist. I'll put a link below. Okay, number 10, and then don't forget, we're going to go back to number 2, the juicy one. So number 10 is, we don't want you to know, or we don't want to have to tell you. We just want you to do this. We want men to seduce us. A man. We want our man to seduce us. We want a man who is good at seduction. We want a man who's had some experience, or who at least seems like he's had some experience, because just like you, we also enjoy physical intimacy and want to be happy. Just know that to keep her happy, then it's good for you to learn the art of seduction. And the other part of this is that when you're good at seduction, it gives her permission to be seduced. She can go into her feminine and relax and allow you to lead, and she trusts that you're going to lead in the right direction to your mutual satisfaction and pleasure. There is a reason why the 50 Shades of Grey movie and books are very popular. If you look at the theme there, it's basically the dominant male, and that allows her to submit safely. And this is whether you're in a long-term or short-term relationship. Okay, so what was number 2? This leads us to number 2. Number 2 is, no matter how hot, I'm going to give you a bonus tip on the word hot at the end here, but no matter how hot, beautiful, sexy, attractive a woman is, almost all women are insecure about their bodies, or particular parts of their bodies, or particular intimate parts of their bodies. So definitely, once you get physically intimate with a woman, you want to make her feel secure and comfortable being in her birthday suit with you by complimenting specific parts of her body that you like. And I can't go into how to do that because I'll get punished here on YouTube. But it's important to know that you want to make sure that she feels comfortable. And definitely don't forget to get my Wake Up to Love program, where you will learn more about how to be your best self that works for you, but that also works for women. I'll put a link below. Now, here's my little extra tip on, just the tip, on the word hot. More women prefer to be called beautiful than hot when you're in the courting stage. Or sexy. Sexy is okay too. But if you go to hot, hot is more objectifying and definitely overtly sexual. Hot means you're turned on, which is great once you've already got to that point with her. But if you haven't, then it feels less intimate emotionally than if you call her beautiful, or if you call her even sexy. If she's wearing something particularly sexy, sexy is great. Unless she's under 25 or very insecure, then she's going to love the word hot. But if she's pretty secure about herself, you're better off to wait to use hot. And this is individual, so you want to ask her about this word. Personally, I don't like it at all. But if you're not sure, use sexy, and then you can even ask her, gosh, you look hot, or whatever. But do you prefer sexy? So just ask her once you get to that stage. But if you use beautiful or sexy, especially beautiful, almost all women want to be called beautiful. If they're naked, they definitely want to be called beautiful. So there you go. Those are the 10 secrets women don't want men to know about us.